Hello and welcome back to EntertainGents. We're back at it for a secondary episode. Since our last secondary episode was destroyed, we're learning here and we're getting some more production value. Hopefully over the next few weeks
That's right.
We'll be good.
Every week the production gets a certain percent better. I think this is our biggest jump yet from having lost the recording to today. I think will be the biggest jump yet. I honestly think
I'm gonna upload the old videos with all the shitty audio so you can all see where we started and where we're at now, because it's a huge leap. We launched our first episode yesterday, which was a bit of a struggle for a little bit, but it is kind of fun getting back into the swing of things. So beyond that, beyond working on all the podcast bugs and everything, what have you been playing and or watching this week, Mr. Brendan?
It's been a crazy week. That's not even true. I don't know. I was playing Slay the Spire 2 some more. Got a few more difficulties. I'm up to Ascension 6 now.
How does one get up that high? Are you like getting crazy cards still? Or is it
You
like
just
unlocks
have-
are like
you
gone
have-
now?
You have to. My unlocks are mostly done. You just have to not only be presented with the right combination of choices, but you have to know and get lucky enough to make the right choices too.
Okay.
Which, of course, that's the core of it being a roguelike.
Yeah.
But that's more of on the back burner now. I tried a new game this week called Easy Red 2. This is that World War II shooter that I streamed for you for like 15 minutes that one night. But this is basically if the original two Battlefront games or the early Battlefield games were made now. It's like the same kind of fidelity. It's multiplayer. It can be with full bots. It's kind of just reenacting campaigns from World War II there's a whole bunch of vehicles and planes and squad play, and it's very tactical in that you pretty much are killed in one shot. But it's very much not AAA, but I'm having a lot of fun with that game.
Yeah, when you streamed it for me that one night, it looked a lot of fun, like very reminiscent of like Battlefield and Battlefront, like you were talking about, just the vehicle combat. I'm kind of
It's
a
less than
sucker for any
$10.
older game like that. Just kind of like
Right.
reminds me of that generation. But yeah, that's cool. That's
So that's Easy Red 2 on Steam. It has a lot of expansions for different theaters of war. The map design is its weakest point, but it's just kind of like fun for what you're expecting it to be.
yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to this week so far?
Well, mainly editing the podcast. A lot of getting used to DaVinci again and its weird shortcuts. But mainly playing wise, I've been playing Replaced, which I was telling you a little bit about, showing you a little bit just a little bit ago actually. The art design for that game is like crazy. Like I remember when we watched the trailer, was it at one of the Game Awards that it was shown?
It was at one of the Xbox events.
Okay.
Is where it was first shown, maybe
Yeah.
2021 or something like that. It was a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure that the wait was a long time for some people. I forgot about it, of course, until you mentioned that it was the same game. And I was really quick to jump into it. And I didn't really know anything about it. I kind of forgot about it all this time. And I didn't really see any marketing for it that like I recognized. But now playing it without really knowing it, like it's kind of right up my alley as far as like the combat is like Arkham like, obviously, like, you know, a lot more simplified, but like there's like gadgets and stuff that you find. Like it almost feels like if a Metroidvania could be like kind of like a straightforward linear type game, just like a side scroller. It's mixed in with like a little bit of like elements of like a game like Inside or Limbo, Little Nightmares, something kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting. Like I've not seen a game like this. They use like the lighting and the atmosphere of like kind of having like things in the background be HD sometimes and the stuff in the front be like that pixelated, like, you know, 2D kind of, not 2D, but like side scroller type element.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just interesting. It's definitely different. Something that I haven't really seen like any other game kind of do, especially in its like type of game that it is.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that I wanted to try soon. And from when this game was announced, like you were saying a while ago, my thought since then has been like, why can't if these games can look this interesting, why? And I guess no shade to how if you like it, but like, why does Metroid Dread look like that?
Yeah, I know.
And then there's when it could look like as interesting as Replace does. It seems like there's a large gap there, and it would be cool if I don't know. It looks so nice, and I wish more
Yeah.
things looked cooler.
No, I agree. It's kind of like crazy that something small like that. I mean, like I think one little nitpick, and it's really just like a lazy feature for me, or not lazy feature of the game, but just like a laziness aspect on my end is like I'm not super drawn into the story because of just having to read everything. Like I wish there was some amount of like, even just in the cutscenes, like it would be cool if there was some amount of like noise element. There's not really like a ton of like noise utilized for like the enemies and stuff even, which I guess is maybe something I could put on fault of the game's
Have
budget
you
with the
noticed
art.
the soundtrack?
The soundtrack is very nice.
Okay.
It is nice. It's kind of atmospheric, a little bit more like a cyberpunk mixed with Blade Runner, which I'm sure is obviously probably supposed to be purposeful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's points where the soundtrack is nice. It's just besides like some of the stuff, like obviously the key features are school noises, but it definitely you can kind of sometimes tell where they probably were trying to keep the budget low with everything else being on the high end. Like the art, I'm sure is probably the biggest expense with that, and I'm probably sure some of the movement and stuff and the design of how that was all going to be integrated and look smooth. But sound design is like something I think there could have been some more punchiness to. I think good sound design in a game like that is really going to be the key factor in whether something's going to like click, like especially if something has like a good punch or like a gun sound, like it adds, even though it sounds weird, like it's like how little could that be, it still adds a satisfying factor to it. I think that's why Dead Space, for a lot of people, the combat I think probably feels a little bit better just because the sound design is so good. I believe even for the first one coming out, the sound design was held as like a pretty good thing. So with the remaster kind of being as good as the original, that was a big thing that people liked. So not to get off on a Dead Space tangent, but I just,
Yeah.
certain things like that, I don't think it makes me say that you shouldn't check this game out any less. I just think that if I see another game from them, especially like a sequel to this game, I would love if that was something that was maybe addressed more. And I'm sure it's already something that they are because they seem like a good, talented studio.
Yeah, and replaced. It's on Game Pass, right?
It is on Game Pass. That's
Sweet.
where I'm getting it. So, I definitely think it's worth, it's like 10 hours, I think, at its longest. So
Okay.
it's definitely something, you could pick up and probably beat over a weekend.
We'll
just
check in
do a
then.
quick Game Pass.
We'll check in next week then, and we'll see if you stuck with it.
Yeah.
See if you got through
I
it.
think I'm going to try to. It's been a little bit of a lighter week this week as far as what I've been watching. I didn't get really much of a chance to watch anything besides just some of the upcoming shows, which I know we wanted to kind of save some of those, like The Boys, and just until they're done to kind of get into it more. But movies, I got around to watching Under the Silver Lake with Andrew Garfield. I can't remember the director's name, but it's the same director who did It Follows, which I know you're a big fan of, and you've been wanting me to watch for a little bit now, which I think we will get into.
Please.
But yeah, Under the Silver Lake. It is kind of very different. I went into it not knowing very much besides just the kind of cast and crew, and a little bit of the concept. The base concept of the movie is kind of, the main character, Andrew Garfield's living in this apartment building. He's kind of a loser. He's kind of friendly with this chick, kind of has a crush on her, hangs out with her, and like she just kind of is gone one day. And so he's like, kind of like, that's weird, and starts looking into it, and it kind of unravels into this bigger mystery thing. But like with how much like 1-to-1 that it is with like an old like neo noir movie is like very like weird. Like there's even like scenes where it's like very trippy, like whether even if it involves like drug use or not. Like there's very like schizophrenic or weird like dream sequences that take place in this movie. Just like weird elements of like the movie too, like things that like are going on that like by the end of the movie you won't even know if it like had anything to do with the main plot or not. It's definitely like one of those movies where I feel like you could watch and there's a lot of like threads to pull, even though I don't think it was like the best well done movie on paper. I still thought the concept was kind of weird and interesting. I don't know. It's like just kind of one of those things that I don't know, maybe with time, maybe it would grow on me, but first watch, it was so strange that I'm like, I still feel like I'm unpacking it. I think I put it at like a 2.5. Parts of me feel like it could be a 3.
On Letterboxd.
Yeah, when I say a 2.5, even though weirdly enough, like something like Mickey 17 is like 2.5. I put Mickey 17 at like a further end because like that movie, the only thing that really redeems it to me is like the acting in it and some of the
It's like a 2.8 versus a 2.6.
kind of, yeah.
All right.
I think like it's definitely on the better end. I think Andrew Garfield brings it in the acting. I think he's just fun to watch generally on screen. Just some amount of like understanding like what's going on would have been nice as far as like if characters were crazy. There's a big
attention.
There's a big element, yeah. There's a big element of like where I feel like it's trying to be like a Christopher Nolan type thing, where like some things are like, well, it's supposed to be up for like interpretation, and part of me also just feels like the movie's not that deep. It's not deep enough to warrant like that level of thought provoking, I guess, because it doesn't feel like in a way where when you watch it, you're like, it's almost just like more of like an irritating, like, well, why was it done that way? Because like now I don't understand. I didn't really like enjoy it enough that I want to like jump right back into it and watch it. To me, it could be something that like maybe a few years from now when I'm like just kind of scrolling one night and I see it on like a streaming service, maybe I'll put it on and maybe my opinion will be changed because I've had some time.
Yeah.
But like, it's not bugging me that amount. It's really just a few key scenes and a few moments in the movie, and really I guess the overall, story of the movie is interesting, but just some of the routes that it takes to get there is a little weird. But
okay,
I don't know. Cool. Yeah, it's still, I think, like, I don't know. If you're going to sit down one night and you have some brews, you're looking for a movie and there's not much else on, I think, like, it's definitely fun watch.
All right. Cool.
I know I just shat on it for a second there, but I think it's just
there's nothing you can think of that would be better than rewatching Under the Silver Lake.
I think it's just I had it on like my radar for a while that I kind of put it on a higher pedestal. I think if you just were flipping through Netflix and you put it on, I think it would be a fun movie to watch.
And it is an 824 movie.
It is, which we've discussed that I have a problem with.
You have an affinity for 824 slop. Yes, I did. I said that, and then after that point, you said, "Oh, is this movie 824?" You checked, and it was.
Yeah.
So, I guess I don't really mean that in a derogatory sense when I say 824 slop, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
824 slop.
Yeah.
The Smashing Machine. Come on. Come on. Are you serious?
We're not talking about the Smashing Machine.
All right.
I'm sorry.
I saw an interesting movie this week too that has a few things similar with what you were just saying, but that might be a spoiler. I saw Hokum.
Oh yeah.
This movie with Adam Scott as the star. He plays a writer from the United States who goes and visits the hotel his parents honeymooned at in Ireland. And the horror is very much based around Irish folklore. And it was just, I really didn't know what to expect going in, and it was kind of surprised me a few times. And it had jump scares that both didn't annoy me and genuinely got me.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty big for a horror movie these days, yeah?
Right. As I feel like it's been a long time of the mindset of jump scare equals lazy and bad.
Mm-hmm.
But there were some pretty scary ones in Hokum. I think you should watch it. As just because of the hotel, it's hard not to think of like The Shining, you know. And yeah, there's just a lot of different shades of cool movies in it, and it still was able to surprise me. And it has Adam Scott playing a much less likable character, I'll say, without spoiling anything, than we are used to seeing him play, and he does it so well. He's a pretty good actor.
Yeah, I agree. I think I said something the other day that like I've liked him ever since. Even just in comedy roles, I've always thought he was like a pretty good actor. Like he played Ben from Parks and Rec, which was the majority of what we knew him from originally. But then he's like even in like smaller roles, like the brother and Step Brothers, the douchebag brother, and
He's funny in that.
Also, the boss in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Was that the name of that movie? The weird Ben Stiller one.
I didn't see it, but I believe that's the name, yes.
Yeah, I remember he was like a douchebag in that too, which is also, I think, the reason why him and Ben Stiller know each other for Severance, which was because he was in that movie.
Okay.
But
it's all connected.
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely wanted to see it. I was definitely interested in it, and then especially after you told me how good it was, I was intrigued with it. Is it something you would say like, you know, I hear some people say with like, I mean, not even just horror movies, but movies in general. Like, was it something that you would say seeing it in the theater amplified the experience, or was it something like should I go see this movie before it leaves theaters?
I don't think necessarily you need to see it in the theater as long as you watch it in the dark and in the quiet. I saw it on a Tuesday, so my theater was pretty empty.
Yeah.
It was yeah, I don't think you need to see it in the theater, especially with how loaded of a movie season it is.
Mm-hmm.
That movie, it's not a slow time even for just horror because Obsession is now out as well. That's getting, I think, even better reviews than Hokum got.
Really?
Yeah, people are saying Obsession is at least the best horror movie in years. That could be hyperbole. I didn't really like Long Legs, and people were saying a lot about Long Legs going into that. So I'm going to take advantage again of $5 movie Tuesdays. And I'm going to go on Tuesday in a couple of days, and I'm going to see Obsession. And I will report back. And then we can close on something that I know we both experienced this week. I played a quick game last night after I got home. It was a 90-minute game called Metal Garden. This is kind of like a Half-Life type of game. It's very narrative driven, very atmospheric, and the gameplay is pretty subpar and baseline. It's really carried by like the story and the world. And basically, you are on a planet that is entirely encased in like this metal sphere, and nothing that they can make or have tried can penetrate it. It has no openings, and in this story, you're kind of seeing a world that has torn itself apart, being like trapped on the surface. So you're walking through this like really gray landscape with like there's still clouds in the sky, but there's like just a metal sheet above the clouds.
Yeah,
and it just looks super sweet. And again, the combat's pretty lackluster, but it's kind of about you finding an access into like this maintenance hatch of the metal dome that you're stuck in, and kind of seeing what's on the other side of it, and it not being the salvation that they had hoped for. So it's just a neat little game.
I think the last couple of years been getting into a lot more of these like indie games. And especially like any time that there's something where it's like smaller, but it's going to be more quality for, you know, more interesting than just some of these AAA games that come out now, like from Ubisoft or different things that we've just seen the same thing over and over again done. I think delving into these games and giving money to these studios where it's actually going to do something probably better, and being more creative with the end process
Yeah.
is cooler. So.
Yeah, this was a $6 game on Steam. It's this person's, or I don't know how many of them, but it's their only game that they have out. Yeah, I have been treating stuff like this kind of like going to the movies. I paid $6. It entertained me for an hour and a half, give me something to think about for a little bit, and probably won't play it again, but that's okay.
Yeah. I've been playing a little bit of Invincible Versus as well.
Oh, still, huh?
A little bit.
Is this the most you've stuck with a fighting game, and at least as an adult?
Yeah, because I would say we got into a little stint of playing some fighting games again, because I remember we got what was like Mortal Kombat 10, Injustice 2, and maybe Marvel vs. Capcom for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Yeah, I think it was those 3 games we played like
Mortal Kombat 11
around the pandemic
with
time.
RoboCop and stuff.
Yeah, I remember we played those a good amount. So, I mean, it's still been a while. I was really, I just threw it on one day. I wasn't playing it like a ton. I probably played it honestly like a couple times this week, but
yeah,
I've been more intrigued with it because like I realized how different some of the combos they work a little bit more differently than like something like Mortal Kombat or something like, a typical like Street Fighter or something like that. Like it's not as much about like getting like those button mashing like combos and like remembering like certain like patterns, where it is like more so remembering like certain movements and timing certain movements to like parry, block. Sometimes you can grab somebody and throw them into a stun. You can parry people up. You can sort of like do a good amount of different things that as I was playing it more, I'm like, this is interesting so far, to the point where like when I played against Micah, who is crazy at fighting games typically.
Your brother, yep.
Yeah. Playing him, like he didn't really know what to do, like just from me having like a few of these different kind of things down, because when we all played it we didn't really know, like no one knew how to block.
Yeah, we were just going.
Yeah, but
I was like, press down A to counter, down A.
I figured out certain things which I'm not like a huge fan of, because it kind of just like makes you have to play the game for some of the things that I think should just be in it. Some of the maps that were locked, I thought were locked out because of DLC, when in reality I was looking and there's actually just locked behind playing the characters for long enough. Each character levels up. So I kind of like, once I saw that, I kind of wanted to beat it and just see, because you can lock certain costumes and things.
Did you play the story mode then?
The story mode is randomly really hard. I don't know why. Like the normal characters, like I'm stuck on like
you're
the
saying that
level.
And you gave up. It spat you out.
The last time I was playing, I just ran out of time. I haven't been playing. I've been playing Replaced more so when I have like the free time to sit down and play. But yeah, I do want to get into it because I want to understand like, why is it I'm getting my ass kicked by these like,
what do they know?
Players.
What do they know that you don't?
I don't know. And it's like weirdly the same thing every time. Like I will notice that I will get the computer player down to the same amount of health every single time.
And then he just locks in, huh?
And then, yeah, he just whoops my ass. I'll have 2 characters still, and he'll be down to 1 character, and he'll still kill me every time. I don't know what it is. It's weird, but I don't know. It's interesting as like a first time foray into this kind of stuff. I like that Robert Kirkman is kind of overseeing most of the stuff. Like, I think even with how dumb The Walking Dead got at points, so far with what he's done with Invincible, I feel like has been pretty steady through. I think especially as we get into the next couple seasons, we'll see. I feel like a lot of shows get...
He says he's going to do more side stories too, and that concerns me.
It does.
Quality-wise.
It does for me too, but...
Not for the sanctity of the story, but like, is it going to be as good?
I mean, we talked about things like Tech Jacket and Battle Beast, and I'm always like them getting their own shows and things. I'm always somebody who I would think start small, and where like the Punisher, for instance, is like the perfect example. Like he started in Daredevil. It wasn't
like the Adam Eve special though too. Invincible did that.
Yeah, they kind of just keep it small. I think keeping it like that, even if you gave like next season, let's say it's again another little bit of a slower season. Maybe there's a whole entire episode dedicated to Battle Beast or a whole entire episode dedicated to Tech Jacket. I think start with something like that and let the fans decide, like, hey, this is what we want. Go further with it. I do think a Battle Beast show could be cool, or even like a special where it's just kind of like one season.
Yeah, the humanity of like Mark seems so far from what you could get out of a Battle Beast show. It would almost have to be a limited series, like longest, because how long can you really listen to the way Battle Beast talks?
Yeah.
You know,
I think it would be more cool to do something where they try to show like their abilities with animation and stuff. Like let that be their way of like, hey, we can do good animation, do like really sick fight scenes, make that the majority of the show. Like I think showcase a lot of that stuff. It could even be something kind of like World War Hulk where he's like trapped in like a coliseum and he has to like fight through everyone before he can get off like a planet or something.
yeah,
They could do something.
oh yeah,
It is kind of boom, boom, boom. I saw a clip this week just while we're on like the topic kind of Robert Kirkman mentioning like at first everyone complained about how long it was taking to get Invincible 1 to season 2, which I mean it was what, like 3 years, 2 years? Do you remember how long it was? First season came out like,
honestly don't remember.
I don't know.
We've had 4 seasons. It's been 2026, 5 and 4, the last 3, right?
Yeah.
So I think there was a 2-year gap, 2.5 years.
Yeah. People complained about it at first, and so they sped up the production, and he was kind of like complaining about people talking about how the animation looks bad now for these newer seasons. And like, he was kind of trying to say that's like somewhat the price to pay with keeping up with production and everything. And like, part of me gets that, but also it's like, I feel like Invincible is a pretty big fucking staple for Amazon. Like, how are they not pumping this show full of money with the amount of people that talk about it online, the amount of fans that love it?
Animation still has a stigma around it for the average person sitting down and opening Prime Video that might have Amazon Prime. That's my guess. So like what you're saying, I don't think Robert Kirkman is an idiot for Immortal floating away as a PNG, but I can still say it'd be so much cooler if this show looked more interesting. Like the thing replaced. Like we have seen, there are other shows, both American and from Japan and South Korea, that are on now that look so much cooler.
Yeah. I did see people talking about in the comments, like, as like, you know, if you're someone specifically said as an avid like anime watcher, like they said he has a point, because if you were to watch any anime and see how long it takes between seasons at some points, they said you would be surprised at how Invincible is able to come out on a yearly basis consistently, unlike most other shows. Which, I mean, again, at the same time, at this rate, if things are going to take longer, like if it did take 2 years for a season of Invincible to come out and it's going to look better, I feel like almost like do that. I mean, couldn't we opt for something more like, all right, it's going to take 2 years, but we'll do 5 extra episodes per season? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's some amount of take and give where like it's going to look really good. Plus we're going to get a little bit more per season. So now instead of like having to like, you know, keep these seasons real tight with everything, we get a little bit more exposure. Yeah, it's a little bit of longer wait time, but everything's going to look good. To me, I just think like it is crazy. Like we were joking about what Dylan always likes to say about Bob and Joe, the two people that work for Invincible.
He always says that about Bob and Joe.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they could get more artists. They just could. And it's not like, I don't know. I get hand drawing. It takes a while. I'm not at all trying to act like I know anything about art.
You get that definitely the voice cast is a large percentage of that budget.
But I mean, to even play devil's advocate to that, I mean, didn't they cut a lot of the people? Like, they even cut the actor that plays William, because I didn't realize this, but I guess he's a bigger star in something else. Like, he has his own show or something like that. And to me, it's like, okay, yeah, for William, why would we get somebody who's like famous? Like, we don't need a famous person every single time. We just need somebody who's good at voice acting.
Yeah.
Because some of these famous okay, it's funny to have Seth Rogen as Alan the Alien, but at the same time, I'd like to know his paycheck, because, like, if you're paying Seth Rogen all this money, I think I would have been fine with whoever was going to do it beforehand.
There's such a long list of names.
Yeah.
And apparently Robert Kirkman is really interested in having Bryan Cranston come do a role on the show, but he said no so far. So, like, you know, he cares more about the getting celebrities to voice the roles and having the character work be good, which the character work is good.
Yeah.
And he thinks that's more important, and he likes the speed that they can deliver it at, which I guess I can understand. But yeah, like, seems like such a, I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of scenes seem kind of lazier than even like watching an episode of SpongeBob. I don't remember seeing something just like growing and shrinking as a PNG to simulate it. That sounds probably like I don't know anything about animation, but like, you see that it's distracting sometimes, where it's like, why'd that look like that? I don't know. It's not a big problem. I'm gonna keep watching it. It's a good show, great characters, and hopefully it can stay good.
The story is really good. I'll definitely be interested. I'm gonna watch. I think I'm gonna wait. I'm going to treat myself to this, and I think read the comic books finally once the show's done. I think that would be kind of a cool way of, enjoying that, is just waiting until the show's done and then finally going back and reading the comic books from fresh. But I don't know. I'm excited to kind of be able to, after it's all done and said, compare the two and see what one I like more. And with enough time away too, like you say, how many years from now the show ends, I think going back and reading some of the comic stuff, I'll probably have forgotten some of the changes and things. And
what will we think of Invincible in 500 years? That's what it really comes down to.
Something that I've really been waiting to mention to you and wanting to bring up on here. We watched this week, both you and I, not together, separately in our own homes, but we've had a little bit of discussions about it. We watched the Punisher One Last Kill special.
One Last Kill.
Yeah.
Metaphorically speaking, of course.
And I wanted to hear what your thoughts were before I tell you this thing that I seen about it.
I was surprised when it was over.
Mm-hmm.
I knew the runtime, but when it was over, I was like, oh, that went by fast. I liked the action. I thought it was kind of a retreading of what we saw for Frank Castle and the Punisher, in that he's learning to be the Punisher for a reason bigger than himself. But I don't think it's worth being mad about that it retreads it, because I feel like this is a good, brief, concise, and well-made reintroduction to Frank Castle and John Bernthal as Frank Castle, especially for the MCU, because while we're probably thinking about it being good as a introduction to the Punisher ahead of him being in Spider-Man this summer, I can see it even being pretty popular, people seeing Spider-Man, seeing the Punisher, and then being curious, and then seeing this special on Disney.
Oh, yeah. I think, I definitely think it was good to have it, especially right after Daredevil, because I think a lot of people naturally probably wanted to see him in the next season a little bit, at least even just for an episode. And I know a lot of people want to see Daredevil in Spider-Man, which, I think could go either way at this point. I would say probably leaning more to the side of not, just because of how much stuff is probably ball packed into it.
Plus, we do know that there's going to be a Born Again Season 3, so presumably Matt Murdock's going to stay where Matt Murdock currently is.
And I mean, we can talk about that at this point.
Spoiler.
We were spoiling the shit out of so much stuff last time. And you're like, wherever he ended up. I saw somebody talk online about that specifically and saying, like, don't you feel like it would ruin the ability of a good story arc for season 3 having Matt start off in, spoiler alert, in prison, where he was left off in season 2, as opposed to having some sort of quick scene in Spider-Man where they break him out of jail real quick and then he's right back to doing whatever. Like, and I did kind of agree. I did think, okay, yeah, maybe just let him ride it out for now and kind of give more Punisher like time to be. I've seen a lot of, like, there's just a lot of internet speculation about this movie, which is,
oh my gosh, for Spider-Man is
very
crazy.
strange. Like, there's just so much. I've seen
so
stuff
much
where
that is confirmed to not be in it.
Yeah.
So much.
But not to get too far off, because I still do want to kind of,
right.
make this about the Punisher special. I thought the fight scenes were very good. Like, whoever did the choreographing seemed to have been like somebody that worked on something like higher up, or at least was following those same like shooting points. Like, I think you even said, like, it wasn't maybe of the level of like John Wick or something like that, but it definitely took notes from that, and just having quick like action scenes where very clearly you have people that are actually trained for it, rather than letting just effects and quick cuts be the constant use case for these. Just having steady shots where you see everything, having them duck around corners and like juggling guns, like that stuff is cool.
Right.
It's stuff that I don't really care about as much if they get a little bit more wacky or unrealistic with it. And even in some degrees, like having it where, like, he's only got like 3 or 4 bullets in the chamber because it's just a gun he's picked up off the ground that's probably already been
was
fired.
Something I noticed too, is not a thing. That's not true. John Wick doesn't totally do away with that, but how much Frank had to pick up and get rid of weapons he picks up, and him constantly checking his magazines to make sure he still had bullets. That I thought that was interesting and different, and I liked the Die Hard aspect of it all, mostly being in his apartment complex.
Yeah, and then just on the street level.
Yeah,
essentially.
And right, like what I said to you, it's not top of the line cinema grade fight choreography, but I don't think it's fair to call it John Wick at home.
No,
because I think it's still pretty cool. I think it's still pretty good for what it is, and it also is not just meaningless violence, because it does eventually get to a point, and I'm a sucker for if it was just meaningless violence, I would still love that. I'm a big sucker for one man army, every enemy has 1 HP type stuff. I love that stuff. So
I really think, just like in the scene where when I watched it with my brother, and he didn't really know what to expect because he'd never even seen the Punisher show, which I told him afterwards he should like check out the old season of Daredevil as well. The complex scene was done and he fell off onto the bus, onto the ground, and you see him trying to go after the old lady. Not only did we both laugh if she's like rolling away on her wheelchair, but like going so slow.
And Gunnar, can you hit me with how he sounds when he jumps from the roof onto the scaffolding below?
I love how it slowed it down to right before he busts through the door on fire. There's a specific like tone that he goes where he's like, it gets closer.
I think
as he gets
you'll
closer
clip that. You'll clip that and you'll put that in.
I'll definitely clip that.
Yeah, little
Maybe
over the
this
top
week will
with
be
how
this.
often and how over the top that battle cry was, but I appreciated it mostly.
Yeah, I think. To kind of get what I was going to say though, right when he falls to that, my brother goes, "Man, the action scene was over quick," and I kind of like smiled because I thought the same thing when it was done. I was like, man, was like, that was really cool, but I'm like, I feel like it's just gonna end here. Like, it would have been cooler if it wasn't. And then it tricks you once the loud metal music starts playing. He starts booking it across the street.
Yeah,
it's such like a hell yeah moment when it like kicks back in, because you're like, oh, it's not done yet. He's still going to kick ass. And even like that, like that's the scene where all of a sudden like the one dude's like running at him and gets shot by another dude on a motorcycle, and he like blocks like the bottle hit. He like grabs the one guy and starts executing him on the street.
I didn't understand what like that Lady Nucci, which people were also saying how that's a retcon from Frank's origin story of who was behind his family's killing.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't really care about that. But I do want to point out, she says we have every hireable criminal working for us to come and kill you. Why is there like 400 guys in this one neighborhood that's ready to run out into the street and kill people?
I don't know.
And something I pointed out, like they were beating him up, but at that shop, like they're holding him at gunpoint to empty their cash drawer, which probably has less than $200 in it. And like the way this man decimates these criminals, he like is putting their head through the display case and like breaking their brains open on their pie display stand and like putting them into the fryer. It's like, this is so much worse than them having to empty their cash drawer. You just like this.
They're going to be shut down for a week because it's an act of crime.
And this little girl just saw you do like the most disgusting things to these dudes. It probably smells in there and like something you can't even describe. Like I don't know. And then this is being like the Punisher is a protector of the people. It's like, you just destroyed this store, and they're gonna have to like be like sweeping up man for so long before they can ever reopen. And like the therapy, it's crazy.
It's not his fault, man. He's just there to clean it up, you know. He's there to punish, and that's about it, you know.
No, correct, but I'm saying he also punished the store owners in some way. I guess my grievance is.
Let me ask you this: do you think he got his name off of, you know, not being known as that?
No, I don't think he got his name by not being a Punisher.
Exactly.
So yeah, I liked it. I get that there are things to nitpick, but when the action is cool and when it's John Bernthal looking all upset and sad with a beard, and I did think it was kind of weird having like it not explained that his one black friend can just warp around his apartment. That honestly scared that scared me, dude.
Well, he died in one of the earlier seasons, didn't he? Or was he just like...
So his death...
Here's what I was confused by. I couldn't remember
if he gained the teleportation, or could you be alive and still be able to teleport?
I don't know, because he was also having visions of Karen as well.
Right. She warped him, but I thought maybe that's Clayface pretending to be Karen Page.
I think you're thinking of the wrong... Okay. Are we was that a segue? Was that a segue? Are you trying to talk about... you wanting to talk about... We can talk about Clayface.
Clayface is so far away. No, I don't want to talk about Clayface.
It's this year, isn't it?
It's in like October. We haven't even talked... Have we even mentioned Disclosure Day? We've mentioned
Disclosure Day. We mentioned it briefly. We didn't really talk about it all that much.
The Gray Men. Yeah, so I'm going to see Obsession. I still have Mortal Kombat on the back burner. Connor got up.
So yeah, Punisher, one last kill.
Yeah. I played a couple games, watched a couple things this week. Is there anything else you're excited about seeing in the theaters soon or in the coming months that we haven't already talked about? I know we touched on the back rooms a couple weeks ago. I know we talked about the Gray Men. Is that what it's called?
In the Gray.
We even looked it up last week.
Yeah, I am excited to see that. It's the new Guy Ritchie movie. Should be like a fun little action movie. Not seeing Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill be on screen together, I think, in anything that I can think of. I think that'll be a fun kind of, foray. I think, because I believe, did Guy Ritchie direct the new Roadhouse?
I don't know that
I don't know that off the top of my head either. But I think Jake Gyllenhaal, I know he's at least worked with him on a project before. And I know Henry Cavill as well because he did the Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, which is also a pretty good movie. Fun little action spy movie. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be like a 5 out of 5, put it on my letterbox as my new favorite movie, but I think it'll be a fun action movie. I think it'll be a good summer blockbuster, something you could go to the movie theater and enjoy your time with.
Yeah.
I would say, we talked a little bit about it, but I felt like as I was editing it for how excited we actually are, we didn't really talk a whole ton about Disclosure Day. I know you mentioned that it was your most hyped movie, but I thought maybe we could talk about it a little bit more in depthly, just some of the things that we're excited about. I know specifically for me and you talking about it leading up to this point is like we've kind of been craving that kind of like gray man, alien movie.
Yeah.
Reminiscent of like an old like 1950s kind of styling of an alien. It's
been a while since we got like an alien abduction type of movie or like a conspiracy type of thing like this. So I think it'll just be cool to see some Spielberg directed kind of like drama based around the politics of the modern world. And I'm sure it's going to be about like not only like revealing information, but also making people believe it and how even that could be a challenge now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super excited to see. I think originally I had pictured it as being a period piece, either like the 50s or the 80s or something like that. And it's just is in modern day, which is fine. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it. What are you hoping to see?
I know it's a little bit further out. Some of the summertime movies I feel like this time around are more so like things that I'm like, I'll kind of wait and see. Spider-Man, it's like, to me, it could be up in the air as far as how good it's going to be. Also, just not to mention, like, maybe it's good for as far as the MCU goes, but I feel like with our age now, like, I've kind of almost matured into, like, being excited about some other things. I think really what's keeping my, like, childhood kind of joy for superheroes alive is the DCU that James Gunn's working on. And I think we haven't really talked about it a lot, and I know I don't want to like talk about it a whole ton, but I am excited for Clayface and other things that are going to be coming from the DCU. I'm excited to see.
For sure you were going to say Supergirl.
Well, no, I'm just going to kind of lead into that as well. Sorry. I think Supergirl is going to be probably that level of fun, exciting, kind of like Spider-Man. Like I don't think it's going to be something I'm going to say this is the best DCU movie, or I don't even really think it's going to blow me out of the water. I think it'll just be, when it's all said and done, a fun kind of ride. I don't think they've really shown Jason Momoa very much as him, if not really at all, right?
I just saw a poster this morning of an officially released look. The poster was like the Lobo poster.
Okay.
He looks how I expected him to look.
I mean, I think he'll be fun in that role. I think, especially for people like you and I who grew up watching like the Justice League cartoons, it really feels like it's like channeling a lot of that, especially in just some of the stories it's kind of trying to get to. Very much being like open about it being like a shared universe. Even with like the... again, I don't want to talk about it a whole ton, but just with the trailer kind of coming out recently, I think it's still something worth talking about. Like in Clayface, like right off the rip, it's like I kind of tried to think about it like from the perspective of if Sony was doing a stupid like Spider-Man, spin-off movie to this. Like you have it very clearly in Gotham. You have it very clearly, like there's like the scene where it just shows a silhouette where he like goes up and he makes like the giant mace that he always makes. Like It's very clearly comic booky and very clearly a Batman villain, but like still how like gross and like scary it feels. Like it's sweet. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
I do think the people they're gonna pick for these are good. So I'm willing to be surprised by Supergirl. I hope that I'm wrong, and I hope that maybe there's more substance there than I'm thinking it's going to be, but I'm not going to be let down either way. I think I'll have fun with it, and that'll probably be something we'll talk about for a little bit, maybe just a segment on the show.
For Supergirl, are you concerned at all I've seen some people say, are you concerned at all that it looks, or let's rephrase this question. Are you concerned that from what we've seen, this movie kind of looks similar to Guardians of the Galaxy?
I haven't seen like a ton of the promotion for it, so I guess hearing that off rip, I did kind of think that when one of the trailers that I saw, because it just showed like her on like a random planet or something. And you already know that like my kind of nitpicks with the Superman movie was that it kind of had elements that felt like similar, like James Gunn Guardians of the Galaxy hit pieces, especially just with like the I can't think of his name now, Mr. Terrific.
That's what exactly what I was going to say.
Exactly like a Yondu scene.
Even like with like the people like that scene, but that seems like now people are at their limit as far as they're not going to accept another 80s song like drop through an action sequence.
Yeah, I think it's just over the top. I mean, it is kind of already like in a way it already feels like it's kind of trying to touch on like a Quentin Tarantino type thing. Like that's very much his style. And it's not that like I think like, hey, he's the only one that gets that, but at the same time it's something where it's like I think it's kind of annoying that he can't like just change the vibe up a little bit, especially when something like Peacemaker is already so similar to the level of comedy, which I get that's just his style. But again, like certain things can be different enough while still being able to have like a humor or, you know, certain running through. It just starts to feel like a little stale, which again, he's not going to direct every movie. And I think when you watch something like that he's produced or something like even like that Slither movie I've never seen, but I've always heard that it like has like a different vibe to it than one of his regular movies. I don't know. Maybe there's potential of him kind of changing it up a little bit.
Yeah, I hope it has. It's from what we've seen of Superman and of Earth, it does have a very distinct flavor from the MCU. So I hope that when we go to space and how it feels to move around in between places in the DC extended universe, I hope that feels different.
Yeah.
I hope that feels different when that happens. So
there's a lot still like in place too that's going to really make up this kind of movie. Like there's a lot still in place that could change this movie universe into kind of being something that's good or something that's bad. I know I said for a lot of people that were kind of lower on the side of liking not liking Superman, I tried to like tell them like, well, you know, look at it in the terms of like, was Iron Man the best MCU movie at the time? You know, when it came out, the movies were a lot different then. They weren't as I don't think anyone seeing the first Iron Man movie would have expected where it would have gone by the end, like with Endgame and all that. So I think there's a lot of potential of them being able to do something similar. I kind of hope that we do see something like with like a Dark Side build up, like to a Justice League movie and all that, and seeing them like actually like fight against a big bad like that would be cool. There's still a lot of things up in the air though, like who's gonna be casted as Batman. Will we even like that? Like there's some things that are kind of nerve-wracking a little bit because it's like
a lot of ground to cover still.
Sure. Yeah, we don't even have a solo Batman movie or a Wonder Woman or like anything. And I don't know. There's excitement with that because I think if they just continue with the stuff like just doing the fun stuff, like doing a Clayface movie or a Swamp Thing movie and it being genuine horror.
And Lanterns is about to be out.
Yep, Lanterns.
So excited for that.
I think there's a lot of potential that we get some cool stuff. Lanterns being like described as like a true detective, like kind of like a mystery. I think there's a reason they're stuck on Earth for a majority of the stuff, I believe, which I think is cool. Like if at least there's gonna be like not like space scene. I think it's kind of hard to, especially with it just being like an HBO show budget, it would probably be hard to have like good looking space scenes with all those aliens and stuff. So I think having their initial debut be like something where they're stuck on Earth is probably a good thing. I think slowly introduce that stuff and bring it in when it's like an element of like high budget. I think it could be even kind of cool if for the majority of the season their rings are on low power so they can only do like minimal stuff with them. Give it some amount of like tense likeness.
For some reason, I'm under the impression that Jon Stewart receives Hal Jordan's ring, and part of the conflict is maybe the ring like can't decide or something.
That could be cool too.
And that's why they can't leave.
From the trailer, it almost seems like he's like training him, but maybe it could be even like he's training him to like take up the mantle.
Yeah.
Because at this point, if you already have like Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan, and then Jon Stewart, now maybe Hal Jordan's like, I'm gonna retire and let the two of them handle it. And who knows, maybe there's even more, because I mean, like, technically at one point I think Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, the older Green Lantern, like the Golden Age one, Guy Gardner, and I think Kyle Rayner too,
and Kilowog.
How bad do you want to see Kilowog in a live
action? So bad.
Do you hope he shows up in the show, like just as like a scene?
I hope.
It'd be cool if he got an end scene.
I bet he's at least mentioned like this is like when I got my gaper widened by Kilowog. You know, I'm sure we'll get something like that.
Maybe he comes in at the end to save him.
Maybe he might come in at the end.
Yeah.
Next week, Connor, we'll have the finale of The Boys to talk about. I will have seen Obsession. I could talk about that with you. And I'll probably try and play some other weird game that I can beat in a night, because I have no shortage of Steam games I've never once launched.
Yeah. I definitely think I'm going to stick with Replaced. I want to come back and talk about my thoughts with that. I definitely think once I'm done with Replaced, I'll see how much I want to do with Game Pass. Mike is really trying to drag us into playing Diablo. He said he got it last night and he wanted to play it today at some point. So we'll see where that goes. Maybe I'll get pulled back into that. But I am getting pulled towards playing Resident Evil, the new one. I want to play
RE9?
Yeah, I want to play RE9. It looks cool. Mike has told me a good amount about it and played it.
Are you going to borrow his version for the Switch 2 and play that, or?
I don't know yet. I might just get it on Xbox. I'll have to see. I might get it on my PC. I'll see how what I feel like. I do like playing those games on the couch.
Yeah.
It is a very vibe kind of setting for me, where I like playing on the couch at nighttime, like in the dark. Just I don't know. But as far as watching, I don't know. I might even go see Obsession. I've thought about it a lot, and obviously,
do you want to go with me on Tuesday? $5.
I might take you up on that. Yeah, that might be a fun thing.
We could go after the gym. I think there's like a 4:00 showing, actually. I already looked. So we can hit up the gym.
There's a lot to look forward to.
And we can chain that into Obsession. And then I think the week after that, I have a dentist appointment.
Keep that in mind. It might come into scheduling conflict.
We actually, I don't think we can go to the gym that day that I have that appointment. I'm serious.
That's good stuff.
I'm actually not joking.
We should plan every gym week around the podcast. Talk about it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff to talk about this summer as far as stuff that comes out. I mean, we could even talk about from next week. We'll probably be over the halfway mark as far as episodes. I can't remember how many. Is it 10 episodes that come out a season?
Yes. So far it has been 10. So I'm assuming it's I am gonna try. I'm gonna hopefully watch Project Hail Mary tonight, too.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Have that ready. And the Mario Galaxy movie comes out on Tuesday on digital, so I'll probably at some point download that for my daughter.
Give that a rewatch.
I probably won't rewatch it. I'm sure I'll see it on quite a bit, but yeah.
Well, it's been a good episode. We talked about some games, talked about some movies. I think that's where we'll leave everyone this week.
All right, comment. Thanks. I'll see you around this poker table.
I'll see you around this poker
table.
We've
never this is a poker table. I don't think that's not been canonized.
I mean, we could play some poker next week.
Playing poker on it doesn't make it's a poker table whether we play poker on it or not.
It's a podcast table.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Come back next week. EntertainGents style.
That way you can line up the front claps and the back claps.